I hope this also finds the right person who does believe in this kind of thing, because I do think it's a very helpful guiding force and helps you navigate life. I also just think it's really nice and reassuring to believe in something, and whatever you believe in, it's entirely up to you, but I think it's nice and reassuring and comforting to know that there's someone or something by your side that's guiding you through life. Certain beliefs, philosophical or spiritually, are kind of alien, particularly because I do live in a my mum's very, very Christian. She knows that I believe in something and I do have a faith. I definitely believe in God, but I don't necessarily name it God. I do just think it's a higher power, whether that's spirituality, God, etc. In terms of my sort of spiritual and philosophical beliefs, I feel like my family are quite conservative and maybe not as open-minded when it comes to these kind of things. So I do feel a bit like a black sheep sometimes. So I have also kind of come up with alternative, holistic approaches to my health, both physically and mentally. One feeds the other. So they're so intertwined that I do think that you have power over how you physically feel. Equally, I know that if you physically feel rotten, you mentally don't feel great, and that the loop just kind of continues. Acupuncture on my face as a hope to help my skin. And I was actually really, really nervous about it because I hate needles. I had a really traumatic time when I was a kid, and they tried to take my blood and they couldn't do it, and I could feel the needle going deeper into my skin. That was a huge thing for me, actually, going to get that done. I think he maybe put around 10 needles in my face altogether. It was a one-off thing. I was really proud of myself for doing it because I did really face a huge fear. Did I see any improvements? To be honest, no. I think it's kind of placebo, these things. It was more just for the experience, but it wasn't sore at all. There was a couple of needles that went in that made me feel a bit sick or just a bit queasy. I enjoyed the experience, but I had sweaty hands. I was a bit panicked. I have also gone to reiki. I did that once. I don't really know how I felt about it. I felt very calm. I think I was expecting, I suppose when you go into an environment that's like that, for me, I just relate it to going for a massage. So it kind of felt like, and obviously the lady that I went to, she doesn't touch you. So it was all just hands over you, and I was kind of itching to get a massage. So I was kind of in it for the wrong thing. I could feel my limbs went a bit cold, and then my knee started to really hurt. I don't know. I think, again, with these things, when you're not really thinking about anything else, you can really focus on how your body feels, and then you really fixate on a certain element when your mind's clear. The same lady that I got acupuncture with also she's a clairvoyant, as in a psychic. And I remember when I worked at the Dandelion Cafe, one of the staff members there said, "You've got a really strong aura. Have you ever considered going to see a psychic?" I said, "Oh, no, I don't know if I necessarily believe in all that kind of stuff." But I said, equally, I don't knock anything until I've tried it, and I'm just very like that as a person. And I don't ever read or listen to reviews of anything before I go, because I like to be the one to decide. Anyway, but after her recommendation, I did go, and it was a surreal, I think I've been a couple of times, 2 or 3 times over the past 5 years. Mind-blowing experience, like truly. I don't live my life by it or according to it. I think just you need to be open to the experience though. I'm outing myself, but I read Vogue India. I read the Sagittarius horoscope daily, religiously. It's phenomenal. If you're into star signs, numerology, all that kind of thing, you're quite spiritual, philosophical, it's incredible. It's honestly incredible. I also just feel like it gives me some form of hope. And I know that that sounds quite silly, or you might think it sounds a bit woo-woo or a bit wacky, but I also know that Dua Lipa is very into numerology and star signs, and she is a smart girl. So Dua Lipa and we're connected. I was at my friend's and she was talking about numerology, and we figured out our angel number. So I don't actually know how to do it off the top of my head, but I'll tell you now. Write down your full birth date, month, day and year in numerical format. Add all the digits together. For example, if your birth date is March 7th, 1997, you would calculate 0 plus 3 plus 0 plus 7, blah, blah, blah. Reduce the number to a single digit or master number, 11, 22 or 33. Continuing the example, 3 plus 6 equals 9. Therefore, 9 is a life path number, same as angel number. When we did this, I was really, really interested. Mine is 3. Western numerology considers this number the luckiest because it looks like a pair of sideways horseshoes. My picture of my tattoo, again done by Thomas Cardiff, and I also got this ring made, which you can see. I was inspired by Blondie McCoy, who owns the brand Thames. It's based off of his design, but I know a jeweller in Glasgow that goes under the name the Glasgow Watch Company. He is also opening up a new store in Argyll Arcade called Paragon Diamonds, or it might just be Paragon, bear with me. But he's fantastic. And let me see, Paragon Diamonds. Anyway, it was just speaking of the horseshoe, I also wear another signet ring, which Molly designed, that he did, but his work is amazing. And you should follow the Glasgow Watch Company. I'll put it up. Not that he's asked me to do this. If you're looking for bespoke jewellery or engagement rings, wedding rings, everyday rings, he's the person to go to. A 3's life purpose is to use her gift of communication to make the world a better place. That I really agree with. And actually, on that topic, I'm going to read you this girl. If you're watching this, it was, again, Monique said, "I'm so excited for your content. I'm glad that you took the leap to start creating The World Needs Your Voice," which really means a lot to me. Truly, the fact that, as I said, one person is moved and interested in what I've got to say, and this may help them in whatever way, is really, really special to me. Also, a book that I read by Julia Cameron called The Creative Way, which is fantastic. I would highly recommend that book. She suggests that you write down every single day 3 A4 pages, and I did that at the beginning for 3 months. And then also what you do is you do exercises within the book, send letters, vision boards, all that kind of stuff. But I have continued the practice of journaling once every day. And I, just for an A4 page, anyway, obviously you won't read any of this, but you can see here that I write everything down. And I feel like me recording is kind of bringing these pages to life, and it's really cathartic for me to talk about what's been going on in my mind. I love writing so much, and I love getting all my thoughts out my head, but equally I love bringing them to life. It's helped me definitely at times where I've not felt like I fit in or anyone understands me, or I feel a bit isolated in my own head. It's been such a lovely way of letting that all out. But now it's nice to actually talk about it and create an open forum, because people think that they're alone in something or that they're suffering in silence, but actually you realise that other people are going through the same thing, or they're going through something. Everyone is going through something. That's why I definitely believe that everyone should treat each other with kindness and respect, because you never know what someone is going through. And Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, again, really good book. These are all really good self-help, psychology, philosophy, how to live a better life, how to live a life more aligned to you. Side note, this is also really random. If you're into art, I would really recommend you go and see Grateful Gallery. It's at 50 Hill Street, and the current exhibition's open till the 3rd of July. I love it so much. This is their sign on the front of in Glasgow. But it's so cute, and I'm considering getting a tattoo saying grateful after having been inspired by this, and I think it's the word of my life, really. That or balance. So let me know what you think's more, after listening to this, what you think might be more suitable. Speaking of philosophy, I did a module in philosophy at uni, and it was called Ethical Controversies. It was the best grade that I ever got throughout uni, and I actually loved that module. It was really, really interesting. Then I did a module that was a bit too... wasn't grounded enough in reality, that I really, really struggled with it. And actually, I remember... speak about not fitting in a lecture, or it was in a tutorial, one of... The tutor was talking, and I did not understand at all. Bear in mind, there was only maybe like 10 of us in the class. Was looking just completely blank. But the tutor asked me a question, and I just said, look, I'm really sorry, but I have no idea what's going on. And I said, I get the feeling that other people don't, but no one's saying anything. And then as soon as I said it, the teacher said, oh, is anyone else, not following? And everyone was like, yeah, no, we don't know what's going on. And I thought, it takes one person to admit it and look silly. And I did it. I took one for the team. I also remember this just shows you my lack of academia. In an art history tutorial, the tutor asked me directly, so Holly, in the reading, blah, 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 it mentions blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that? And I said, oh, I'm really sorry, but I didn't do the reading, because I'm not one for lying. And he was really taken aback because I was so honest. I said, right, okay, well, if we use last week's example, or the reading from last week, what do you think about that? And I said, I'm really sorry, but I didn't read that either. Anyway, he said, okay, well, I appreciate your honesty. Just make sure that you do the reading for next week. The only reason that I hadn't done it is because I was so busy. One of the art history, now I'm just recollecting funny stories. We had to do a presentation, and I was with two of my close friends, and we got up to do it. We're all quite creative, a bit mad, a bit wacky, and we were kind of stumbly and didn't really know what to say, and we were finding it really funny. We were like Charlie's Angels. And one of the girls, Georgie, she just started the presentation in this tutorial going, stage fright, as in stage fright. Sorry, I feel like I've gone on such a tangent. Spirituality, and as I said, it's definitely something that you need to be open-minded to. And I do think that the universe knows what's right for you, and that things happen in life when you're ready to receive them. Everything always works out in the end for you, but you do have to go through, unfortunately, all the troughs in order to get to the peak, and that is just the nature of life. But it's so hard to see that when you're in it. So if that's you, I feel you, and you've just got to ride the wave, because there is, and I'm still riding that wave. I'm riding that wave, baby. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope that this was of interest to you. This guy that lives across the road from me, but he always looks in my window, and it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But to be fair, I'm also looking at him now, but he's looking at me whilst I'm recording this, so it probably looks like I'm on some really important Zoom call, or I don't know, doing some really serious business. Business is booming. I put that back, sorry. Oh dear. So if you're a 3,